Howdy, this is Fred, and today we are home again at Maddox Park. Now, Maddox Park, it's been here for a very long time, and it was a very important part of my childhood. So we'll talk a little bit about that, as well as a lot of really good, positive sounding changes that are ahead for this tiny little jewel just west of downtown Atlanta. Now, to those of you who are not familiar, Maddox Park is just west of Atlanta, right off of Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway, the street formerly known as Bankhead to all of those long-time Atlantans. It's bordered on the west by Proctor Creek, and just south of the West Side Reservation Park, and it kind of is connected by the Proctor Creek Nature Walk, the two parks. And it's, like I said, this park has been here for a very long time. It's been kind of a staple of this part of the city for as long as I can remember. And just to give you a better idea of where Maddox Park is located, it is directly across the street from the Bankhead MARTA station. So here is the swimming pool here at Maddox Park. It's gone through a couple of renovations since the years back when I used to come here as a kid. I remember this being like an oblong-shaped pool, and there was a divider in the middle, like a walkway that divided the shallow end from the deep end. But it's gone through a couple of revitalizations. I think at one point it was shut down for a while until some revitalizations rolls off the tongue could be done. And this is what it looks like now. It's much nicer than I remember from when I was a youngster. Now, at the top of these stairs is the main pavilion of the park. That's it right up there. We're going to take a few steps up there and take a look at it. Back in around 2018, the pavilion suffered a pretty major fire that pretty much completely destroyed it, but then it was later rebuilt. So we're going to go up there and take a look at it now and see what kind of shape it's in. Okay, so now we are inside the pavilion, and as you can see, it's in pretty good shape. There's a little bit of trash and litter on the floor, on the ground. I think the park is still very much in a transitional phase as far as its usage by the public. But it's one more roundabout of the pavilion. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I remember parties and cookouts and gatherings being held up here back in the day. Like I said, this was a very important part to this part of the community. Of course, much like other parks here in Atlanta, many years ago you could drive your car through the parks, but most of them have closed off their driveways. So right now I'm walking along the main loop that circles Maddox Park. It goes around the pool, around the pavilion. It makes its way back around to the other side of the pool. And at one point, there was it kind of forked off by the pavilion up here, and you could cross over to go over to the access road to North Avenue. But that has since been closed up as well. And the railway is still an active railway. As a matter of fact, there's a train on it right now. We're gonna go take a visit. As we're heading over to the railroad, here's another view of the swimming pool. That noise you hear in the background, they are mowing the lawns here at the park. So it is still being very much maintained. Okay, so here we are. We're now on the back side of the pavilion that I was just talking about before. And then this is the continuation of the road I was walking along. And like I said, now it kind of dead ends right here where the railroad track cuts to the park. Now, at one time, this did not end here. It actually continued over the railroads, and you could get down to the North Avenue access road simply by crossing over. Of course, now it's blocked off. Now, here we are on the other side of the train where that road stopped. Right here where this guardrail is, that's where the road continued onto this street right here. This is the road that connects North Avenue to Bankhead off in this direction. And now we're going to go take a look at the bridge that this train goes over down at the bottom of the hill on North Avenue. Okay, now you see how high this bridge is and how far it goes over? Yeah, I would say exactly one time in my life when I was a young kid, I actually walked across this bridge, not by myself, it was probably with a few other young hooligans who made their way across. I can tell you now, I wouldn't do this now, but yeah, it was a little bit of an adventure. Kind of reminds me a lot of Stand By Me, that movie. But yeah, this trestle's been here, as you can see, for a very long time, and it's still active. There's a train sitting on it right now, as you can see. But yeah, this bridge, yeah, pretty big deal, very important part. A lot of kids I know have walked this bridge coming to the park from neighborhoods just south of the park. So now we are on the playground side of Maddox Park. Yeah, and we would come here, play on the swings. I'm pretty sure these are not the same ones because that was many, many years ago. They were very similar to this kind, the metal posts, really high off the ground, probably more dangerous than they need to be for daring kids trying to swing as high as they could. Now just across is a smaller pavilion off to the side there, so when the family was here, you know, the kids played on the swing and they set up food and a picnic over in the pavilion and just had a great time here at Maddox Park. Now, before we draw this session to a close, let's talk about this bridge here. Now, before Hollowell was expanded to, see how wide it is now, it's like about the width of a 6-lane drive, even though it's still 4 with the median. Back in the day, Bankhead, it was still just 4 lanes, and when it went under this bridge, there was no sidewalk. You would risk your life going from that side of the bridge to this side of the bridge, because not only was there not a sidewalk, but there was a curve under the bridge, so you might not be able to see what was coming your way once you were trying to sneak under or sneak past the bridge. Yes, those were wild, dangerous times then. Now a couple of last notes on Maddox Park. Right now I'm standing at the original outway, how would you say that? Of where the North Avenue Annex used to pull into Bankhead, or fly into Bankhead. It's been rerouted so that it now intersects directly with Marietta Boulevard, which is undergone a change in this section of town too. As instead of coming into Bankhead in a straight line, it kind of had this S-curve thing before it came onto Bankhead, if longtime residents remember that. Now, as we talk about Marietta Boulevard, and also we were talking about the railroad earlier, there seem to be some major plans to include Maddox Park in the Atlanta Beltline project. I'm really happy to hear about that, because I feel like I remember at one time the park was in danger of being completely shut down, and in order to make, I don't know, I think of maybe residential spaces or some kind of business area. I don't remember exactly, but thankfully the park is still here for people to enjoy, and once the Beltline part of it kicks in, even more people will get to enjoy this staple of the Atlanta park system. Again, this is Fred, and we're home again at Maddox Park.